So this first game, we have 9Q and 10Q, so we're just breaking into single digit Q. I've lectured all of my students 9Q to 7Q. It's mostly about habits. So please, please, please be working on your mental habits. Like, don't play too fast. Look before you leap. Read. Don't play your first option. Consider multiple options and then read each one and then, make your decision. So I'll tell you guys the same thing. This rank is really about
Mm-hmm.
starting the habits that you're going to have for the single digit Q ranks. So if you start building bad habits, it's going to plague you at single digit Q. But if you start good habits, it'll make the single digit Q a lot easier. Um, I don't quite like this one. I understand why you're doing it though, so it's fine. But now that we're single digit Q, we probably should do a little bit more. So probably like here, or here. I would prefer this one probably. It is more difficult, so the reading's more difficult, but it's still okay. It's just more efficient. The reason is when you get kicked right here, it's really uncomfortable to just Nobi, and then if he plays right here, just jump. You see how
That's
cramped you
why I
are?
kicked, yeah.
Yeah,
Or this
so
this chain, yeah.
this is it's perfectly fine for 10Q, but as you go into single digit Q, this is going to be too slow. So up to this point, there's no mistake for white because defense first, make your base, right? But going into single digit Qs, we will have to increase our speed just slightly by increasing the risk a little bit, not too much, but just increase the risk a little bit so we can get a little bit more efficiency out of it. But it does require a little bit more reading. This is why we don't play this at double digit Q because this is complex. It's hard. But if you learn it, then you can increase your speed. Any particular reason you didn't go here or even here?
No.
This one is very slack. So what's the purpose? Is it defense, offense, big move?
I thought it was needed for this sequence. And
So you're
probably
trying to you're
the
trying to
reason I thought it was
assume a
needed is just
Joseki?
to solidify the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm assuming just
Well,
like that's why I read the
whenever you play Joseki, you want to think about why are these moves Joseki. Don't just memorize Joseki because that's how you end up with this, I think. So why would you think there needs to be a continuation? What is the problem?
I don't know, I must have thought that the corner needs support, and maybe I thought it was an easy way of giving the support and grabbing additional points.
Okay. So whenever we respond, we want to think about why is this so much more important or so important or urgent that I can't play a big move. So let's just say I go play a big move here, here, 33. Okay, a big move is very big. So whenever we respond locally, it means we have a good reason for it. So I would rather you not play something and get punished for it than for you to defend something you don't understand why you have to respond. Because now, if you get punished and you're like, I don't know what to do, and then you learn, oh, I can just push them to the edge, or whatever. You learn a new sequence. Now you understand how to handle it, or you understand how to punish someone who tanukis it. Then you understand the sequence, and then you know exactly why you're defending or why you're playing. So if you play a move like this, I really want you to build the habit of reading what is the problem, why am I doing it? Because even if it is the correct move, if you don't know why, it's better to get punished and learn than it is to assume that it's the correct move and then play. Because if you're saying that there's some Aji in the corner, this fixes it. Because now this just works. Okay, this just works for you. So this fixes it and it peeps white space. So that's already better. Not to mention, we could have been playing this for a lot of points. And yeah, maybe this could exist, but this doesn't do anything to us. They're just forcing moves. Or at best, he goes here and gets two forcing moves. Right? So it doesn't really matter. The only problem is white can play some stuff like this, like a peep right here, or over here, to make our eye space a little uncomfortable. But white's also uncomfortable. So as soon as white plays like right here and we defend, we're attacking white. And if white keeps attacking us, white's going to get in a lot of trouble. So this is also protecting that same problem, but pressuring white. So it's just a matter of like understanding what is the problem, why am I defending it, and can I defend it better? right? So if I was going to respawn locally, it would be here or here. Otherwise, I would just Tanuki. I think this one's a little bit slow. For
Gotcha.
white, I think this is very important. Um, like for the same reason, if you don't know why it's important, Tanuki and get punished, because now you have to jump. But this is clearly bigger than one, so it's just a lot more solid territory. So because this exists for black, we can't let black bully us in Sente, so we have to defend. Now it's done, and now we can go trade big moves, and we don't care. Like here, maybe here, whatever. We can go trade big moves because we've stopped the problem. So this one I would defend as white. I don't think bottom's the biggest. I think probably just Sanritse. It's fine. Just left side is the most open side. There's no reason to defy the open side basics right now. Probably not until like 6Q, 5Q do you have to worry about combination or anything. There's no obvious forcing moves right here, so I would just play open side. Also, Knight's move. It's easier. This is just too complex. There's too many variations. It's still invadable. I don't think players understand why you would do this move. Just do this. It's safer. It's easier. Easier variations, easier follow-ups, more points. Less of a moyo, less pressure on this, but it's just easier to use. So I wouldn't do this one. I would definitely pincer here because direction of play. This side is bigger than this side. So make sure that you're not just playing Joseki just because it's the one you know. Make sure you think about direction of play. So I would pincer here. Yep. Okay. I hope both players know this.
You should be pleasantly surprised.
This is my latest video on my channel. It's like, this attachment should never be played at double digit Q because every single time a double digit Q will mess it up. But you are a single digit Q, and Java, you going into 9Q, you will have to learn this attachment. So now is the time to learn it. So white doesn't know because the move is either here or here for white. So let's just think about this logically. I'm assuming you know this. Sorry, is Java here or Mango here?
I'm Java here.
Oh, you are here. Okay,
They're both here actually.
Sweet, sweet.
So you joined a little bit later.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so this attachment, someone always messes it up at double digit Q. So never do it at double digit Q. But if they do, the simple way for white is just connect your cutting point. Because let's think about basics, cutting points and bases. Connect your cutting point, they fix theirs, and you make your base. That's the easy way to handle it. That's my variation for double digit Q players. Okay. However, if you know the Joseki, then this is the correct move, which makes sense. Like, okay, this is Joseki. But if you don't know the whole Joseki, then you're going to get in a lot of trouble because now what are you going to do if I play right here and then play right here? You have no eye space. So your eye space is very invadable. So because of that, the first Joseki I teach my single digit Q students is do this one first, and then black can either push or jump out. And you can see you already start with eye space. You have this extension, so extend. You're very happy. It's very solid. You've started the sequence, and you're fine. And then later you can start going for the influence and pushing a little bit, and that's another sequence you can consider. But you need to understand that you don't have the eye space here. Like there's still ways to take your eyes. Now it's thickness though, so if you can handle thickness, it's okay. That's why it's Joseki. But if you don't understand all the ins and outs of what I just talked about, you need to be thinking about bases first. This is the order that I teach my students this Joseki is first, learn how to just not get cut and make your base. Next, bully a little bit, like get the forcing moves and then make your base. And then next, okay, here's the thickness, but you don't have a base. Here's like, now you need to recognize you don't have a base and handle that and watch the weak group, right? You got to watch that thickness. So when you're going here, you need to realize you don't have a base yet, technically. So it's not like it's unplayable, but like there's so much Aji right here. And black is not under any fear. Black can just literally ignore. And what can you do? If you go here to take black space, he makes a base over here. If you pincer, then black's going to live in your base. And that's very painful. So black has no fear here. So that's what you need to recognize with this move is you have to do something to help yourself while attacking black, which I call that aggressive defense. defense, but in Sente. Defense that also bullies your opponent. Otherwise, just fix your cutting point. Like even at like double digit Q, I would say, what's wrong with just this move? Why are we not fixing cutting point? What is so big or urgent that we're not fixing this cutting point? Right. So cutting points and bases, that's middle game at double digit Q. At single digit Q, it's don't mess up your cutting points and bases, but now we have to read a little bit. Okay, this should be here. This shape is still invadable. It's still a co. Yeah.
We find that out later.
Yeah, I really don't like the large knights move with the star point. It's just there's too much Aji. Then there's also like if there's a stone right here, there's also like moves like this. So there's so many problems with it. I really just tell my students just play knights moves. It's easier. You don't have to worry about nearly as much. For black, why are we going up to the fourth line? What are we developing? Why are we playing a 3-space jump? Because don't forget, this is technically still half Sente to you. Like, yeah, you're alive, but like now you're cut off in Sente. So why are we playing a 3-space extension? Why are we going to the fourth line? I really want you to ask yourself, like, why are you choosing the moves that you're choosing when you review your games? Why are you making these decisions? Because technically you have a very large move right here. And here you're going to the fourth line. So you're either looking for escape routes or for developing. And you don't need either of those things. Because that's what the fourth line on your opponent's side represents, yeah? Because fourth line represents building or growing or running away. Because it's closer to the center. It's not territory because it's invadable. So why are we doing it? Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, I wanted to avoid the double wing formation on the bottom left.
Okay, so you're trying to encourage something like this so you can invade. Okay, so why not just go here? Why not just prevent it?
No, I wasn't encouraging anything. I thought I was actually going to be able to connect this upwards later on.
This is just a chicken move. This is too passive. Like, go bully your opponent. It's scary, but you're 9Q now, you're single digit Q, you're gonna have to learn how to deal with these and just fight. Starting a fight in your area should not be scary. What should be scary is starting a fight in your opponent's area. But if you control this area, you should want to fight. You're in control. It's your area. You're outnumbering him. So you can't be scared of it. So yeah, this is a... So if you're scared of this move, why aren't you scared of this move? Like, what's the difference, right? It's the same principle.
That one I thought I could handle.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's the exact same principle. It's just one's more obvious than the other, but the same principle applies.
Good point.
Yeah, I lost the variation, but anyway, the same principle applies. And the reason this is so powerful, if white was alive, I would say here probably, because that way when he does this, it's not their Aji right here is a lot easier to handle. So being 2 spaces away makes it harder for this stone to help the support of the evasion. But in this case, this is also an attack. So that's what makes this move so perfect, is because if he tries to do this and just run away, like that, you can see this group is not alive. This is very painful. Very, very painful for white. So it shouldn't be it shouldn't be scary. It should be like super annoying for white to deal with. I think this is going into players love to undercut positions. So that's why we're doing this. But let's think about it. Let's think about it for a second. What is the next thing to do? So do I have any weak groups? Yes. So this would be very nice to get, because having that 1-space jump makes you absolutely alive. It also peeps the 3-space and the attachment under. So this would be a nice calm move. If we think everything's alive and we have no problems, does our opponent have any problems? Yes, there's a cutting point over here. So we can attack something. And we have the support to attack something, so that would be good. But okay, let's say we don't see that. Okay, now we're thinking largest framework. Who has the largest framework? Probably the top right framework for black, I think. Bottom left is an argument, for sure. So I could see if you're at largest framework, this would be good to expand largest framework. So okay, I could see if you arrived after all of those points and got here, that would be fine. But I really think A, B, probably I would think about C and D as well, but more likely is C. Then I would consider D. But okay, it's not a bad move. I just want to expand your knowledge, because right now you're playing well for a 10Q. It's good. You're a 10Q. Cool. You're playing good moves. But now we want to push you past 10Q. What do you need? Well, you need to start thinking about the weaknesses. You need to start thinking about why you're doing things, and start applying reading a little bit. So we're playing a cap. So same questions. Weak groups, technically here. Technically, you want this move. This is also very nice because it kind of fixes this 3-space jump. In addition, it opens up this invasion, because you see how you're kind of surrounding this corner that never made a base. Remember that bases are important. So this one fixes while also threatens the attack. So it's actually a very powerful move. But okay, let's assume there's no weaknesses. Both players are saying there's no weaknesses. So big move. Yeah, I would say White's framework is probably bigger at this point. So you are choosing to reduce. So you're saying I want control of the center.
I was actually
or
saying
giving you
something else,
territory.
and I was saying it badly, I think. I thought I would get a response locally from White, and then I would have additional strength to attack the right-hand side small group. So that really was a preparation
Okay, so this is a
move
leaning
to
attack.
attack the right side. Yeah. Well, maybe not. If you don't see it, then maybe it wasn't that, but that
No.
was the idea.
I was going to point out that you're trading territory for influence, which means you have to use this influence to attack and gain profit. Otherwise, you've just given White territory. So not bad,
All right, good.
but make sure that you have reasons, because don't forget, you could have invaded and just destroyed the points. So whenever you are giving your opponent points, you need to think, why am I giving these instead of invading? What am I getting in the exchange rate? Does that make sense? So if you're saying this to attack, that's fine. You have to unsettle first, because once he goes here, he's settled, he's alive. Because a 2-space with a 1-space is almost absolutely alive. So now the attack's over. So is this area as big as this area? Probably not.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just pointing out the time since it's been 20 minutes.
Okay. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Mostly just like pushing you to think about why more. Ask yourself why more. And yeah, hopefully you found that helpful.
Thank you for the view. Thank you for the game, Sean.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, guys.